Hello there, and welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash, and I'm your host on this journey through men's style, self-development, and personal grooming. Now today, our topic for discussion is quality over quantity, because I'm sure you're aware that we live in a time where men's clothing seems to be getting cheaper and cheaper, because many of the items we see in the marketplace today in such shops, if you live in the UK, as Primark, where they focus on high volume, low quality items which are very, very modestly priced. And these are seductively cheap to the common man, who will typically buy 3, 4 or 5 items of low quality rather than spending a little bit more money and having one much better quality item. So today I'm going to put forward the case for 6 items of men's style and accessories that I think are well worth investing just a little bit more money in, and the returns that you will get for that investment. Now, the first area that I think it's worth investing money in, and that's your overcoat. And I'll extend it to a degree to your raincoat as well. Because in the classic men's world, an overcoat, a thick, high quality garment made of good quality components like wool or cashmere, is really what sets the sartorially well-dressed man apart from his contemporaries in the wider population, who will most typically be wearing a parka or some other form of padded synthetic jacket. Your overcoat or your raincoat will be made to last. They'll be made of high quality items. They will be classical in the nature of their style. A classic single-breasted overcoat made of wool or cashmere is likely going to last you for decades and decades. Not only will it last you a long time, that it'll work exceptionally well too. Those non-man-made fibers like wool and cashmere perform fantastically at insulating you from the cold. And of course, crucially, they will look good too. You will stand out from the crowd. And particularly if you opt for an overcoat in one of those neutral colours like charcoal grey or navy, which you can wear with many items of different colours within your wardrobe. Those colours go with all of your blues, all of your greys, all of your brown fabrics. They will be so wearable across a wide spectrum of your other clothing. And an overcoat can be worn not just with formal attire, but casual attire as well. You get so much for that investment. But it's true to say it's going to be expensive. A good quality overcoat is going to run you for several hundreds of pounds, opposed to those much cheaper parkas and synthetic material coats that you buy in those budget clothing retailers. But in the long run, you will get a much better item, which will be better constructed, it'll last a lot longer, and it'll look a lot better while you're wearing it too. So well worth the extra investment. Now, the next area of your style, what I'm going to suggest to you is worth investing some extra money in, and that's your knitwear. Now, this is a lesson that I've learned absolutely over the last couple of years, because I was just like the ordinary man. I would buy a jumper because I liked the look of it, and I didn't spend a great deal of time wondering about what it was made from. And it's important to know that not all knitwear is created equally. If you buy a jumper, a sweater, which is made of a synthetic material, an acrylic or a polyester, it might look similar, but it's not going to last so long, it's not going to wear so well, and it's not going to look so good when you're wearing it than something like cashmere, merino, or just natural wool. Now, in recent years, I've invested in some very nice quality 100% wool knitwear. Shawl-collared cardigans, I've done videos on it. I leave links to all of the videos I'm talking about today in the show notes below. But a shawl-collared cardigan in 100% wool, it just feels different to those acrylic versions. It wears so much better on your body. It's a natural fibre. It's meant to be there. It's not something which was created in a lab. And natural wools look so much better. Now, they are going to cost a lot more money. But that said, they're going to last well. They're going to last for many years if you look after them correctly. So my advice to you, if you're going to buy a jumper ready for the autumn and the winter time, think about what you're going to buy. think about looking at the label to see what it is made of. And if it's not 100% wool, think again. You may be making a false economy by buying a non-natural fibre just because it's a little cheaper. Think about spending a little bit more, get a natural, good quality wool, cashmere or merino jumper, and it'll be such a better experience for you. Now the third area of your style that I'd like to talk about, and it's one which will be no surprise to people who watch my channel here, and that is your footwear. Because your shoes are an area in which it's well worth investing extra money than buying something which is inexpensive but of low quality. Now, talking about low quality shoes, they'll often be made of very low quality components. The leather used within them will be typically something like genuine leather, which is the very lowest quality of leather which you can call leather. The sole will be stuck or cemented to the upper part of the shoe by some sort of glue or cement, and it just won't look very good. On the other hand, if you invest that little bit extra and get a good quality leather shoe, it's something which you can be sure is going to last you potentially for decades. Because, two things, the leather it's made of will be a much better quality. A calf leather perhaps, or a full grain leather, which is at the very top end of the quality that you can expect from a pair of shoes. And the sole will be adhered to the upper part of your shoe, most likely by a Goodyear welt or a Blake welt. This is the little flap which allows the sole to be machine sewn onto the upper part of the shoe, which means that it's held in place mechanically. It's been stitched there. It's not going to fall off. It's not going to peel apart as the adhesive breaks down and deteriorates, as is the case with your lower quality, cemented soled shoe. And the beauty of that Goodyear welted shoe, you can change that sole time and time again, meaning the lifetime of your shoe can be extended and sometimes counted in the decades. Not only that, there's so many things. A good quality shoe is something that just keeps giving to you. Crucially, it's going to look better. Now that leather that it's made of is going to patina with the passing of time. As you add polish and shoe creams to that good quality shoe, it's going to take on its own look. It's going to become unique, individual to you. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to form itself wonderfully to your foot. It's going to be incredibly comfortable. And it's just going to, be the foundation piece from which all of your other items that you wear begin from the ground up. So investing in a good pair of shoes is absolutely the right place to put your money. Remember the old saying, good shoes are not cheap, and cheap shoes are not good. If you think like that, you won't go far wrong. Now the fourth item I'd like to talk to you about investing your money in, and it'll come as no surprise to people who watch my channel with any regularity, and that's the wristwatch. Because I think a wristwatch is a really important part of any gentleman's overall style. Because in many cases, it's going to be the only piece of pseudo jewellery that a gentleman can wear or will wear. Now, it's not really jewellery. It has a practical application, of course. It tells you the time, the date, and a number of other functions as well, depending on the watch. But an actual mechanical wristwatch tells a lot about the gentleman who wears it. It tells you that he's different to the person who's invested, say, £10 or $10 in that Casio wristwatch. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not a watch snob. If you spend $10 on a watch which tells you the time, you've invested your money well. But the impression that it gives to other people is that you're a person who perhaps prioritizes utilitarian practicality rather than style. Because a $10 watch, yes, it'll tell you the time perfectly accurately, but it'll tell nothing more. It doesn't really tell the person who's looking at you much about your character. But if you're wearing a mechanical watch, say a Swiss watch, it'll tell the person who's, profiling you with their eyes when they first meet you, creating that first impression. It'll tell them that you're somebody who is interested in the details. You think it merit-worthy of investing some of your hard-earned money in a nice quality watch, and it'll set the tone. Now, you don't have to spend a pile of money, you don't have to spend thousands of pounds or dollars on a well-known Swiss wristwatch. You can just as easily buy a brand such as Orient by the Japanese manufacturer. They make a fantastic range of wristwatches, mechanical, automatic movements in things like their Bambino range, which look classically elegant. They complement most well-dressed men's style, and they don't break the bank either. So you can look fabulous with your lovely wristwatch without spending a lot of money. But if you've got some money, definitely think about spending a little bit more on that quality wristwatch to set the perfect first impression. Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you will have noticed I look a little different. And that's because the next item that I think it's worth investing a bit extra money in is your eyewear. Because your eyewear performs a really important function. When you meet somebody, people tend to look each other in the eye. And if you're wearing glasses of any kind, whether it's prescription glasses or sunglasses, it'll be the first thing that people notice about you. Now, your eyewear is very much in a way like your footwear, because whereas your shoes build your look from the ground up as a foundation piece, your eyewear casts a shadow from head to toe. It's what people will see first of all. So it's worth perhaps spending a little bit more than just a couple of pounds or dollars on your sunglasses. Now, for many years I've worn things like Ray-Ban sunglasses. Yes, they cost between $100, $200, $300 pounds for a pair of these Ray-Ban glasses, but they last for many years and they look really good in that time as well. Now, I've got a pair of Entourage of 7 sunglasses on today. They're quite expensive, they cost between £200 and £300, but the component parts which go to make up these spectacles is where the value is. The lenses themselves are high quality optics. The frames are made of acetate and the skeleton inside holding it all together is titanium. So you know that you're investing in something which is going to last a long time. And of course, it sets the tone for the way that you're dressed as well. So invest your money well in some good eyewear. It'll last you for years and it'll make all the difference when it comes to setting the tone of your style. Now, when it comes to investing in the long term, for quality over quantity, the final item I'd like to talk about is leather goods, because I'm a huge fan of leather. I like the tactile nature of leather. I love the fact that it gets better with the passing of time. I like the fact that its appeal is across several of my senses. It's not just the touch, it's also the aroma that good quality leather exudes. And it just, as I say, gets better the longer you own it. And I think it's well worth investing in those leather goods. Whether it's a nice quality briefcase or a nice quality wallet, it's something which says a lot about you. Now, yes, I know, man-made materials have better performance. They're more waterproof, they will last possibly longer in the long term, but they won't look anything like as stylish as leather. Let me give you a scenario. Imagine you're in a restaurant with a client. You're talking about some important business project. And when it comes to paying the bill, you produce from your back pocket a nylon wallet which has got a Velcro fastening and the logo from your favorite sports team on it. What does that say about you? Imagine that you produce from your back pocket a beautiful leather wallet made from a vegetable tan, which is beautiful. Maybe you have a little logo accenting it with your initials. It says something about you entirely different to that leather wallet. It tells the person that you're with that you're an individual who enjoys attention to detail, that you value quality craftsmanship and natural materials over perhaps better performing but less stylish man-made materials. So for me, when it comes to those accessories, like a briefcase, a wallet, or a valise, a weekend bag, you know, I always, where I can, go for leather. It's a lot more expensive, that's true. And it doesn't perform as well. Yes, it will get wet, it will get soggy if you get caught out in the rain, whereas perhaps your man-made materials will just shrug off that water. But you will look a lot more stylish, and your leather will look better. As the years progress, you can grow old together. And that's one of the beauties, I think, of leather. It says so much more about you than that nylon hold-all which you carry to the gym. Well then, chaps, those are the 6 items that I think are worth investing a little bit more money in than those cheaper, high-volume items that you'll find pretty much everywhere. Think about what you're buying, invest a little bit more, and you will get so much more bang for your buck in the long term. And not only that while you're living with these accessories and products, life will be so much more enjoyable. Well, if you enjoyed today's video, I would of course encourage you to give us a thumbs up. And if you're not already a member of the Chap's Guide community, click the red button and come on the journey with us. I'd love to have you along. Don't forget, leave me a comment in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. Until the next time, take care of yourselves, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon.